state. Multiple states have it. We're not sure what this impact's going to be for the country as a whole and also for us locally. However, it's a multi-month process. So for purposes of moving the process forward, I'd make a motion to move it forward with the full understanding that this isn't the final discussion on it. And two, we're going to have an opportunity to either pull the trigger or not pull the trigger for further on down the road. So this is just for a purely procedural standpoint to keep this process moving forward. I'd make that motion to move forward.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor made by Alderman McClanathan, seconded by Alderman Busker to move ordinance 2020-19 on to the next regularly scheduled meeting. Is there any further discussion? Those on the phone, are any further discussion? Seeing none, we will move on to item number 4, which is the first reading of ordinance 2020-20. And if you could please look at your most current version that you have a hard copy of. And for those by telephone, you had something emailed to you. So if you can look at that, otherwise we'll just, Manager Bucus will probably go through it line by line.
Ready?
Yes, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
An ordinance of the City of Freeport temporarily suspending certain actions of the city in light of the COVID-19 pandemic regarding moratorium on water shutoffs and late fees for water and sewer bills, temporary downtown loading zones, temporarily lifting parking restrictions on Linden Avenue, liquor license and video gaming annual fee credits, temporarily waive food and beverage tax, delay water and sewer rate increase, and the city covering PSN fees.
Thank you. Manager Bucus.
Thank you, Your Honor. Section A of the ordinance talks about the desires of the city to temporarily suspend the act of discontinuing and disconnecting water and sewer services for non-payment of water and sewer bills, and also suspend the imposition of late fees for non-payment till May 1st, 2020. This was one of the directives that came from the governor's office in a previous executive order he issued. The water and sewer customers that would normally be cut off or have been cut off and put back on because of the order will still be responsible for their current bill as well as their past bills. Section B talks about the temporary loading zones that we've established in the downtown area for some of our local restaurants, so that they would have a couple of parking spaces reserved for them for they can come out or people can park there temporarily to pick up their food orders. Section 3 was a temporary suspension by the Stevenson County Health Department. They're looking at some kind of loading and unloading zone for some of their clients that will come in for like the WIC program and that, where they'll give them supplies, and rather than coming into the building, they want to be there to give it to them, and it'll be during certain hours. Less than the hours that we have in our ordinance, but I thought that it would be a good idea if we gave them kind of a wide berth so that they can fulfill their goal there. Section D talks about crediting holders of various liquor licenses equal to 2 months of their annual liquor fee, which we do on July 1st, July 1st. Section E is the desire to waive the collection of food and beverage taxes for the months of March and April. Section F talks about how we will credit all video game terminal license holders equal to 2 months for their annual license fee, which is due July 1st. And Section G is the city's desire to delay the annual cost of living increase on water and sewer fees and rates. So that will be frozen for 1 year. And then H is the desire to temporarily suspend certain temporary sign regulations. And by this, what we're trying to do is allow those restaurants and other businesses that are open that they could put a temporary sign out in front of their business saying that the drive-thru is open or we're open for business, because a lot of people do not realize who is and who's not open. And that we're waiving all the fees on that as well. And all they need to do is call into the Community Development Department. They don't have to physically come in and apply for that application. And the last administrative fee that we're looking to temporarily waive at this time are the Payment Services Network, also known as PSN, for bill paying until May 1st. PSN is one of the vendors that we use that people can either send a check through or a credit card or debit card through. And there are some annual fees associated with that the city would pick up rather than placing it on our residents. Use that people can either send a check through or a credit card or debit card through. And there are some annual fees associated with that the city would pick up rather than placing it on our.
Can someone please turn their volume down on either their cable or their YouTube, please, for you people at home? It's best if you mute it.
Okay, so questions, discussion, council.
Mayor?
Alderman McClanathan.
Thank you. Thank you, Manager Bucus, for talking about the revisions here, on here. And I'd also, I'd note, again, as I had mentioned in the last, on the last item here, we're obviously dealing with uncharted waters here. We're not sure how this is gonna impact all of us. We know there is an impact that is currently happening with a lot of the businesses. We know that there's people being impacted in regards to their jobs. Some people are losing their jobs, some people are having hours cut, and we're not sure how long this instability is going to take place or what the long-term effect is. So, Mayor, I know you were instrumental in helping put these forward and kind of brainstorming on what some of the ideas were. So I appreciate your leadership in taking some of these steps here. I think it provides a balance. Is this perfect? No, but it's an opportunity for the city to forgo some revenue at this time in ways that helps, hopefully, will help target the individuals who need it most here at this time. Moving forward. Again, I also know Manager Bucus has indicated that he's instructed staff to take all steps to eliminate or reduce expenses to the extent we can keep expenses down. So I think this is a good faith showing to the residents that the city's attempting to do their part and help provide relief. Is it going to be perfect? Who knows? Are we going to need to take initial steps down the road one or the other? Who knows? But at this point in time, I think it's important that we get this relief out there, especially in light of what you see on the national scene today where, you know, we're hearing that there's going to be some steps, but as of now, it's broken down twice in procedural votes. So this is something that we can do locally, and I'd encourage my colleagues to join me in passing this, and I'd make a motion to move it forward.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor made by Alderman McClanathan, seconded by Alderman Ross. Is there any further discussion, particularly those on telephone?
Mayor.
Madam Mayor.
We'll start with Alderman Borneman.
I just want to echo what Mr. McClanathan said that this isn't perfect, and I'm sure some people will be wondering why we're not doing more. But for now, this is something that I appreciate the mayor and the staff and administration working to find ways to help the community, taxpayers, business owners that are affected. And hopefully we can continue to look for those things. So that's all I had to say. I appreciate the staff and the administration coming up with these cuts to help the citizens.
Thank you, Alderman Borneman. Alderman Brashaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank you for helping put this all together and to help our small business owners who are just hanging on. I pray that this will all be done soon.
And we agree with you. Anything from Alderman Parker?
No, nothing at this time. Thank you.
All right, Alderman Berberet.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Director Bucus, how do we plan to get this information out to the public? We don't have any media coverage here. I think a lot of people are on social networks, but not everybody is. Is there some way that we can get this out? Because it's important people see this.
Right. Well, some of our food and beverage vendors we'll send out letters to. We'll also post it on our website, and we will send out a news release stating what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
And it is being recorded now for those that are watching. And then I'll make mention of it in my Sunday article as well.
Good. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Alderman Busker.
motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Alderman Busker, seconded by Alderman Ross for the suspension of the rules. Suspension of the rules is non-debatable and was passed by a 2/3 majority. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll on the suspension of the rules only?
Berberay,
Aye.
Borneman,
Aye.
McClanathan,
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Busker,
Aye.
Brashaw.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Then now before you, council, is the second reading for ordinance 2020-20. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please take the roll on this passage?
Berberay,
Aye.
Borneman,
Aye.
McClanathan,
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Busker,
Aye.
and Brashaw.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Item number 5 is the adoption of Resolution 2020-23. Madam Clerk, would you please read this?
Resolution of the City of Freeport authorizing and approving a pension obligation bond policy.
Thank you. Manager Bucus.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution is basically stating that the city's intention on borrowing any monies for the pension liability for the fire and police pension funds would be used for those purposes only and not for any other purposes.
Mayor,
Alderman McClanathan.
is this something that we can address when we have second reading for the ordinance at the same time?
Yes.
I'd make a motion to move this forwards to the next regularly scheduled council meeting. That it also addresses the second reading of the ordinance, what was it, 2019 or something? And council? Yeah, I amend my motion, whatever you need to do it.
I was going to say, since this is a resolution, is your motion to lay this over to the next city council meeting on April 6th?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion made by Alderman McClanathan, seconded by Alderman Busker to lay over Resolution 2020-23. Is there any further discussion, council? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, which is a discussion.
We gotta vote.
Do a roll call. Take a roll call to lay it over.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you please take the roll for the layover?
Berberay,
Aye.
Borneman,
Aye.
McClanathan,
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Parker,
I'd abstain from that vote, I believe.
Busker,
Aye.
Brashaw.
Abstain.
1, 2, 3. The motion passes 5-0 with 2 abstentions.
Thank you. Now, item number 6. It was a discussion regarding the closure of City Hall. Manager Lucas.
Thank you, Your Honor. As everyone's aware, the governor has issued a stay in place order. A lot of communities throughout the state have been closing a lot of their facilities to the general public. They're still operating, but they are closing their facilities. Stevenson County just did that over the weekend. And what I'm proposing is that we close all our city facilities to visitors unless they have an appointment. We would place notices on the doors as to phone numbers and email addresses that people can contact City Hall or could even be the Public Works Garage, places of who they need to talk to and set up an appointment to come in. We also would promote that people pay their bills either at the drop box that's located at the corner of Cherry and Stevenson Street, or the one at the back entrance of City Hall on Exchange, as well as the drop box at the library. We could take those are 3 areas we can take payments for any type of bills that need to be paid. And I have drafted a press release that basically this would remain in effect until April 9th. I drafted this announcement before I knew the governor was going to put a 2-week stay-in-place order in, so we could modify this to April 7th. But what we're looking for is trying to keep as many people as possible from coming into City Hall that really don't need to be here. And we're also looking and have some people working remotely now out of their homes. And we're going to continue to explore that option as well.
Mayor,
Alderman McClanathan?
are you largely looking for it to mirror the stay-at-home or orders and things of that nature?
My original intent when I wrote this, it wasn't in place, but yes, it basically is mirroring what the governor has done.
Follow-up, Mayor? Is there any harm in having the release or the authorization say as long as, I'm not sure what the order is, but so we don't have to, I mean, let's say that, right, if we, in 2 weeks, the order is extended and things of that nature, we don't have to come back and have a meeting or something to discuss this.
That could be part of your motion as to the offices and facilities will be closed until the stay-at-home order that's been issued by the governor has been lifted.
Legal counsel, do you have any issue with that?
I don't have an issue with that at all. Honestly, the city manager's powers and duties under our code of ordinances includes that the city manager has the authority to coordinate the management of City Hall and all other buildings. So I think you probably don't even need a motion here, granted the fact that it also just says discussion on the agenda as well. But I think a consensus of the council would be enough to give Manager Bucus the blessing to move forward with his plan of action, given the fact that he has the authority to manage City Hall anyways.
So council, does Manager Bucus have the blessing to go in that direction?
Yes.
Is there anyone that doesn't agree? Alderman Burberry.
I do agree with it, but I have a question for particularly police. You have people in your facility coming and going. You can put a sign on the door and say you come back later. I mean, I think you bring people in when they're under arrest and you hold them, and do we have any feel whether they're exposed, or is that part of the questioning process? Or, in other words, that's a wild card almost.
We are going to remain open as much as we can. We have put in place some guidelines for our officers bringing people in into the police department. Just for security reasons, I don't want to get into those too much right now, but we are limiting the people that are coming into the police department in terms of arrestees and people that don't necessarily need to come in. Some people will still have to come in, so we're doing that. We're leaving the front lobby open for any necessary things that we need to do at the police department and then that we're mandated to do.
Okay, thank you. Look, concerned about the health of the officers.
So am I.
Right. Thank you.
Alderman McClanathan?
Thank you. Generally, I'm comfortable with it, with the caveat that you had indicated that there would be signage with phone numbers, emails, things of that nature, so people, if they have necessary business to conduct, they'll still be able to conduct it to the accommodations that you make.
And the plan is to get that word out as much as possible tomorrow, and then this goes into effect on Wednesday.
That's correct.
Mayor,
Alderman Ross?
wouldn't it be a good idea to put on that local channel on cable, Comcast, in reference to the City Hall closing and the hours and stuff?
Yeah, we could talk to them about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, 17. Anything further from telephone?
Mayor, I would just say that I'm all for closing of the City Hall as needed, especially if employees and staff are available over the internet and over the phone. In-person communication at this point, under these circumstances, doesn't seem to be necessary.
All right, thank you. If there's no other discussion, we'll move on to item number 7, which is public comment. Any more public comments? Seeing none, We will move into the executive session. Madam Clerk, could you read this?
Pursuant to 5 ILCS 122C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity.
Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
Mayor,
Yes.
I have a question. Is it possible if we do go into executive session that, since this is the last item on the agenda, we're past public comments, we can handle it right here?
Yeah, that was the plan.
All
What
right.
we're going to do is, as soon as we get the vote go through, then we'll ask all the public and those that are not a part of the meeting to then exit the building. We'll turn off the cameras like we do any other time that we're sitting in the other room, and then we'll just finish up because we have no vote at the end. So after the session is voted on, then we'll just close it up.
I'd make that motion then.
Second.
Right, we have a motion made by Alderman Clanathan, seconded by Alderman Busker. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Berberay.
Aye.
Borneman.
Aye.
McClanathan.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Busker.
Aye.
And Brashaw.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, thank you.